For the next sitting. I call the clerk.
Private members' business notice number 5. The member for Perth to move motion relating to the Perth Freight Link.
Call the member for Perth.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I move the motion relating to the Perth Freight Link in terms in which it appears on the notice paper. Madam Deputy Speaker, a big issue in the Canning by-election is the growing congestion on the roads in Perth's southeastern corridor. We see suburbs literally mushrooming along on Armidale Road, pouring thousands of extra vehicles onto those roads each day, and quite frankly the road infrastructure is unable to cope with this. It's led to gridlock as residents cease to access the job-rich areas to the north and to the west of Armidale. Labor has committed $145 million to the cost of the Community Connect South project, which would alleviate these bottlenecks. But the Abbott and Barnett government find themselves incapable of making the same commitment, because instead they are pouring almost $2 billion into the highly ideological and poorly planned Perth Freight Link. Today I have written to the Commonwealth Auditor-General asking him to conduct an audit of this project. I've referred the Auditor-General to the extraordinary statements of Premier Colin Barnett to his concerned constituents in a meeting in North Fremantle 2 weeks ago. He told them in respect to the $935 million Section 2 of the project, and he described this as the most fundamental point that people needed to have in mind. And I'm here quoting the Premier. He says, "We haven't even selected a route, haven't decided if it's going to be above ground or in a tunnel, and tunnels are incredibly expensive. Haven't decided yet whether it will be done at various interchanges, haven't designed it, haven't done the engineering work, haven't done the environmental work, haven't done the planning work. So the connection is still a long, long way away," he said, trying to console them. And he said, "I wish I could stand here and say I've got all the answers. I don't. And I guess the only excuse that I can make is that row 8 is ready to go. We've yet to do the work that is required on the connection to the port." So here we have over 50% of the cost of this project quite clearly has not been planned. How can we possibly have a cost-benefit analysis done on a project where, as the Premier of Western Australia is telling us, we don't even know where it's going to go, we don't even know if it's going to be subterranean or above the ground? We simply, as he says, the work has not been done. So how can we be committing this $930 million of federal taxpayers' money to a project about which we know so very, very little? Now, we do have the secrecy around this project, of course, has reached new heights. I mean, members will be aware of my long-term battles against the Commonwealth trying to collect documents. Now, late last week, I received a request from Main Roads for the fourth extension of time, for a mere 53 documents relating to this project. So we know what the documents are, a confined number of documents, and they've asked for their fourth extension of time. They've used every lame excuse under the sun to try to justify not revealing these projects. Quite clearly, this is a matter of enormous embarrassment. I also received a very interesting FOI today. We actually did get a couple of documents out of diary entries out of Senator Cormann's office, and what it showed that in the first instance, it confirms that this was a deal stitched up with Treasurer Mike Nahan, the Senator Cormann and the Assistant Minister for Infrastructure at a federal level. They had their meeting in their office, and only 2 weeks later We've now got evidence that the poor hapless Minister for Transport, the WA Minister for Transport, went into the meeting expecting that he was going to be making his pitch for funding of the outer harbour and coming out with this Perth Freight Link. But as the Premier says, he's belled the cat. The Premier has said, we haven't done the work on this project, we don't know where it's going, it is a long way off. Well, I say to you, let us withdraw that funding and fund the South Connect project. Spend this money on roads where we've done the planning, where we know what needs to be done to solve the congestion problems in Perth.
Members' time has expired.